That's all I've got.
Well, the other thing I wanted to bring up at the last board meeting, I had talked about, retaining staff and what we were doing and wanting to see that as a discussion item. And at the end of our last meeting, when we came out into open session, had voted to look at doing some focus group surveys or consulting with an outside agency to do that. So is that where that would come from? Okay, so staff engagement and maintenance of staff would come from there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Just so we
That
know
was my thought or my thinking process.
Sure. I just wanted to follow up from that.
Yeah.
And you're bringing somebody in next month, I believe, people in to talk, or no?
That'll be up to you.
Okay.
Because I'll be bringing proposals to you.
Oh, okay.
And then you decide if you want to interview them.
Gotcha. Okay. The proposals are coming to this P&F next month then?
No, they'll come to the full board, so you can act on it as a full board.
Okay. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a question on your last weekly update with the staffing reductions, the library media specialist.
Yep.
I was just curious, does that mean we're going to have one then for all schools? Okay.
Yeah, you're by the state law, you have to have a librarian actually, right?
No, I get that. I just, the fact
Media
that we're going
specialist.
from 2 to 1, I just want to know what that was going to look like as far as workload and coverage.
You can jump into it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
I've been working with Rachel Harmley and Sarah Shepke, forming a new team, a team that can really resource the teachers in a new way. We have a lot of resources. Some of what we're looking at is that some of them are not used well. So how can we form a team that assists the teacher and resources the teacher more? So we have aides in every school. We're looking at what we need at Fox River, and those aides will keep those libraries running, but there's some things of a collection and looking at a collection as a whole that we can look at and see, are we really getting our resources like the way that we need to, and sort of fine tuning, okay, what role does this person, what role does our new assistant principal have, what role does Sarah Shepke have, what role does Rachel have, what role do the reading teachers have, and bringing them together in some ways, yet clarify their roles so that we're really resourcing our teachers, because there's a lot of teachers that are saying, I don't want resources to use or whatever, and so if we can have Rachel take on that role, and it will be a huge transition, you know, for her and for us, but I think in the end, some of the things that she currently does with some teachers, if we do them in different ways, then more teachers will be resourced. So I think she's a valuable person, and we can look at using her in some new, more innovative ways.
Okay, I guess my fear with it is, you know, we have 2 full-time positions. Now that's all going to 1 position with Rachel, and, you know, everybody's heard Rachel's name a million times come up at the meetings, and I just fear I don't want to burn her out, you know, saying, okay, now you're responsible for all 4 schools, you know, do the same thing, just do it now as 2 people, but you're only 1, and, you know.
So we're gonna have aides staff the libraries? Is that what it is?
We do have aides that staff the libraries for, so there's some repetitive things that, there's some specialized things that an LMS should do, and then there's some things that, like teaching research, for example, that's something that's in the core curriculum, and the teachers as a whole need to be able to do that in their classrooms themselves. And if we can resource them and train them, they can do that themselves. That's how most classroom teachers are doing those things now. And the LMS taking on more of that role of digital citizenship and some of those things that are very difficult for classroom teachers to do. So I think it's
that's a big thing, is the shift away.
And it's very, very difficult to find an LMS that has the skills that Rachel has. Excellent skills, and we'll be able to use her. And so we need to fine tune what we really should have her focus on, and what are some tasks that the aides can take on, or, you know, that they have been taking on, and we have really skilled library aides, so that is definitely a
Now
plus.
that everybody has computers and we don't use the Dewey Decimal System anymore, not a lot of reasons to be forced into a library.
But yeah, it's just the concern is that position does so much more than just, you know, checks out books.
It's not just a librarian
Yeah, I mean,
anymore.
you're not just a librarian, you're working with teachers,
Yeah.
you're working with students, and I'm just, the concern is, would it be too much to take the 2 jobs and cram it into one person and expect the same results that she's been given? So I just wanna make sure that we got that covered and we have a plan to make that work, and we're not gonna burn out a teacher and, you know, lose someone I think nobody here wants to.
Rachel had some discussion in the piece, and I think it will be different than what she did this year, but because it's a new thing, but she did a lot of the pieces this year already
Okay.
among the whole staff.
And she's part of the redesign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in where we ever went with, we've had this discussion a bunch of times, and the standardization of ebooks and things that we have in our library and classified, how kids get access on their laptops, that we have all these laptops. It's getting to the point where you don't have to get a physical book to look at it. A lot of kids are reading on e-readers.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we ever go with that, since we get all this money out of the state for our libraries to buy books and things?
She's been increasing the quantity of ebooks, especially at the middle school level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's hard to do in the elementary buildings yet, because
Mhm.
first off, we don't have the fleet of technology one-to-one.
And I think at the elementary, I think you need a physical document in front of you
Yeah,
sometimes.
I agree. For the English.
The other thing that's interesting too is, I mean, I don't know how many of you read books online, but I wouldn't want to read them on a laptop. Most
Right.
people who read
Yeah.
online read them. So we're looking into
Kindle
what are
systems.
some ways that we can enhance, you know, if they're doing it for a report or something like that, it's a little different, but if they're reading a novel, do we need to have some e-readers of some sort? What kind would we buy that people can check out of the
Right.
library? And
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that,
think we need to look at some of that.
that's right, that's what you have to look at with that conversation is, it's great in theory, and I read everything now on my very expensive iPad.
Yeah.
Which not everybody has access to, and
Right.
I agree, there's no way I would sit and watch and read a book on a laptop, and I'm
Right.
sure most kids wouldn't, and you know, we still have to make
Just can't-
accessible to everybody, and that still means
Right.
having a paperback book
Right.
available for
How
somebody
do
to check out.
we-
Or
how do
what
we-
is what is
Oh, right,
the
we're looking
least,
at-
you know,
Yeah, how
least
do we-
expensive
Right.
e-reader we can
Sure.
How do we
have?
interface with the Lakeshore Library System? Are we directly interfaced with it because we're a school district?
Not directly. There's some sort of software piece that has to be in place to do that, yeah.
We should really be looking into that, because right now, I mean, I can reserve everything. I reserve before the book's even available, what book I know that's coming out from my favorite author. And even if I want large
And you read that online
font,
or in a paper copy?
I actually do like paper copies majority of the time,
I do
because I sit and read PDFs all day long and I'm tired of them. So unfortunately, I read a little slower, because I don't have to read every word, unlike my wife who reads at fast speed, but
What's like,
Mhm.
what she likes or
too.
not?
I'll look into that though.
I mean, I don't
Sure.
see why we would be on that, because then the kids could
Mhm.
go online and just reserve anything they want on there.
Mhm.
I mean, there must be a filtration system on the library side in Lakeshore that say the student shouldn't be having access to this or something,
Mhm.
you know?
Right. But I do think the device upon which they would read the stuff, if it's not for research or something like that, is what Rachel and I are talking about. That we need to solve that.
Right. If you have something nice to read it, it's
Mhm.
All right,
one thing, but if you don't, then
Right.
it's not as.
that's it?
That's it.
All right, the case adjourned. Yeah, sounds good. Actually, before 10 o'clock.